Guys, can you hear it? Sounds like something building up pressure and then releasing. So I've been down to main dealers, picked up my Hyundai i40, my Fiat 500 over there, the BMW Touring and my 1 Series BMW. But while I was down there, he's convinced me to take away something else out of his yard that I shouldn't have touched with a barge pole. Here we go. 3 litre twin turbo V6 diesel, 2010, with 150,000 miles on it, although it does have a Jaguar main dealer full service history. And it was offered to me at a price that, to be honest, it's less than the deposit on a new car. So it's got to be worth a shot, isn't it? So yeah, looking around it, I mean, we've got the gloss black finish alloys, which seem to be in good nick, no major curbing on those. Got some nice rubber on there. I have given it a quick clean. Down the side of the car, doesn't seem to be any major dings or dents down there. There's a little one up there. There's a bit of a scrape here. Got rear parking sensors. This corner's good, nothing here, nothing on this panel. Down here seems straight. Again, the alloy wheels looking good nick here. It's a bit flaked off just there on that one. Yeah, tiny little bit, they'll touch in with some gloss paint. I've seen a little scuff there. So overall, the paintwork is actually in quite good condition for the age. Nothing too outrageous at all. And it is a really nice looking car. I mean, if you like that kind of murdered out look. Let's have a look inside. I noticed some gear in the seat already because I'm already planning on taking this home tonight, seeing what I think of it. So inside we've got all round lecky windows, we've got memory on the seats, loads and loads of buttons on the seats for 101 adjustments. For 150,000 miles, the seat's actually in really good nick. Doesn't have a lot of wear to it at all. The back seats don't seem to have any wear. Doesn't look like anybody's been in them. Passenger seat, that's in really good nick. So it looks like most of the miles have been done in this seat. Oh. So what we've got here, cruise control, Bluetooth, stereo controls, flappy paddle, gear lever changes. Everything's finished off in sort of an aluminium-y colour here. Got a leather dash, that's all leather trimmed. It's a nice looking interior. These were renowned for that, weren't they? Let's start her up and see what we got on the dash. Keyless, of course, this, so I've got the key in my pocket. Auto adjusting steering wheel. Says parking aid unavailable, consult your dealer, so I don't know what that's all about. So we've got 151,000 miles on it. So what this does have going for it is a cracking service history, guys. So we've got services 2011, these are all main dealer. 2011, 2011, 2012, 2012, 2013, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 18, 19, 20, and then here a 620 cam belt and water pump. So cracking service history on it. That's a big plus for it, and knowing that cam belt's been done is a big plus as well. I think we've got an MOT that runs around to about September on this one. So I'm definitely going to smoke home it tonight. It's literally not smoke home too much now, I don't think. See how it runs, see if it brings up any codes at all. Yeah, see what the score is with that. I know everybody's going to comment down below that these are financial suicide, which they probably are. But it's got full main dealer history. It's had its belts done, or its cam belt done. I don't know what the score is on these. I thought there were 2 on these potentially. And I can only take it as I see it. I drive it, and mechanically it shifts through the gears lovely. It's got tons of power. It's smooth. There's a whiff of smoke every now and then. Done 150,000 miles. Kind of like just live with it type of thing, isn't it, when you say? I think realistic, the best plan for this is just for me to trade it out. There'll be someone out there that knows Jaguars, knows this engine, knows the score with these cars. I did hear something about a breather pipe that gets clogged in there between the turbos or something. Someone was telling me that can cause smoke every now and then because it gets blocked up. I don't know. All I know is I don't want to second guess what it might be. All I know is the performance of the car is fantastic. There's very little smoke at all on it. It has that full service history. The buttons seem to work. It seems to be in good condition. It's got to be worth, I think retail for it is about 5,000. No, more than that. Yeah, about, actually no, I ran it, didn't I? It's about 5,500. It's about 5,495. I think as it stands at the moment, it's got to be worth 2.5 grand, wouldn't you say? I'd say it's got to be worth 2.5 grand. Personally, I'd buy it and just drive it as it is. I'd buy it. If I didn't already have the Alpha, I'd probably smoke around it myself, to be honest. And I'm just amassing too many toys. I need to start getting some money back in the bank for all this stuff. But personally, having driven it, and we'll put the camera on it when I drive it in a bit. Personally, I think I'd just drive it as it is. Drive it as it is and see if anything gets any worse, I guess. But for like £2,500 to smoke around in this, I think you'd be laughing, wouldn't you? 2.5 grand gives someone the opportunity to either drive it as it is, or they've got 3 grand between that and retail. So if they want to have a look into doing something about it, they can do. And I would imagine that gives them enough margin to get it sorted. I'd say if they know Jaguars and they know how to work on, or they've got someone local they work with on cars that knows Jaguars. I did want to have a look around and see if there's a local Jaguar specialist, because I did think about popping it down to them, getting it looked at. But it's not really my kind of marketing stuff. This needs to sit on a forecourt with other stuff like this, really. I just bought it for fun, really. And yeah, just needs to be moved on to the next owner, really. So Adrian's been for a run in the Jag as well, and he's also heard that air escaping noise, a bit like a supercharger. We've had a look around the engine bay, had the engine running, and can hear it coming from here. And looking at it, this housing doesn't seem to be fitted properly. Can you shut the hell up, mate? Doesn't seem to be fitted properly. It seems to be off at an angle, and it feels like the air's coming out there. So we're going to whip this off and see if we can relocate it and see if that stops the whistling noise. But you saw smoke as well, though, didn't you, when you were accelerating?
Definitely black smoke.
So we are getting black smoke. So that absolutely wasn't sitting on properly, was it? Because there's a clip there, and it was sitting on that on the outside, on the front, wasn't it? Yeah. It needs to go over that, doesn't it?
Seal the top
and then
properly.
Lock in, doesn't it? And that's better. That's sitting over it properly now. That was letting a lot of air out down there, and it was making a hell of a whistling noise, which I could hear in the engine bay. I think it was that. Noise has disappeared. Come out and listen, Aid. It's complete. Noise is completely gone.
Yeah, there's nothing coming out there now at all.
Oh, that's one little fix done. As Adrian spotted it, he's going to have the honour of taking it out again and seeing if it stops smoking. Now, I don't know if that needed to come off during part of the servicing process or not, and it's not been put back on properly, or the other reason might be they were trying to find out what the problem with the car was, and it was very hurriedly put back together. That could be a danger. But it could be something as stupid as simple as that. We'll see. So at this point, guys, we all want to be fingers crossed that it was drawing too much air in, that the ECU was then throwing fuel in, causing it to smoke. But so everybody now, give your comment down below. What do you think? And also cross all your fingers for me. Not that I'm expecting it to be that simple, because we've bought it cheap enough that it's not a problem if it isn't that simple, but yeah, let's see. That's not encouraging. He's back already.
It's gone into limp mode.
Has it?
Yeah.
That's weird.
As soon as I pulled out and gone into second gear, you could feel power went.
And went to limp mode.
Yeah, it's got up on the dash restricted performance.
Okay, we'll have to plug it in. Right, let's get the top done on it and see what Adrian broke. I wonder if it's something to do with us unplugging those sensors, because it's keyless entry, so the power is still going to everything. We unplugged those sensors. I wonder if it's something to do with that. He says in hope. Right, okay, even before the top Don's got there, I think we found what the problem is. Adrian didn't his pipe back up here. The pipe I took off and put back on again, Adrian didn't tighten up. So that's hopefully just what our problem was and why it suddenly had an ab-dab. So let's get it tightened up. So take 2 to this time, you promise not to break it? Okay, all right. Let's go and see if you get a little bit further than the end of the road. I imagine if there was gunk in it, it's going to take a little to clear it out first, though, isn't it? Smoke-wise. It depends. I guess it depends how much oil's gone through. Yeah. Yeah, if it was over fuel, not. Oh yeah, we'll see. See how you get on, mate. We'll be waiting in anticipation. Yeah, it's a bit. Yeah, there is, isn't there? Yeah, and you've got a bit of smoke still. Rev it up again. Down here somewhere. Almost like what a supercharger sounds like, but I don't know. Let's see if I can get it to do it again. Guys, can you hear it? It sounds like something building up pressure and then releasing. Like, he's still stayed in limp mode. I still drove it home last night, but couldn't get it to go out of limp mode. I've come down to Phil and the Moors guys, and we're leaving it behind, and we're taking back the Polo with the suspension fixed, and we're taking back the Corsa. Mike's in the Corsa for me. Oh. The head gasket's been repaired on the Corsa, so we're driving that back, driving the Polo back, and leaving the Jag behind. Let's see if Phil can be a complete legend for a second time. I actually undid the inlet manifold again because I was worried that that's where it was over boosting and putting the pressure in. So I thought, rather than crack one of those plastic intake manifolds or something like that, I'd undo that. Cleared the codes and ran it again, but it still went into limp mode, so I don't know what the score is there. So it's a day later, the Jag's still down at Moors, but obviously they had other work on, so they weren't able to jump on it and look at it straight away. Sorry for the lost footage on some of it. Like I say, I was laughing and joking with Adrian when we thought we'd just quickly done a quick fix on it, and once it went into limp mode, things got a bit more serious and I forgot to record. I say, I won't give up the day job anytime soon. So it was really annoying because when I picked up the Jag, I was told that it was smoking a little bit and there's strange noises from the engine bay, so it was described exactly as is. I drove it and it performed fantastic, no codes on it at all, no engine management codes on it at all. It boosted really strongly, it flew, it just had that strange sort of whistly noise from the engine bay. So when we pulled it in here, popped the bonnet and found that intake was off slightly, we thought, well, simple fix, push that back on, clip it back in again. That's where the air's been lost. But as soon as we did that and then drove the car, bang, straight into limp mode. And ever since then, we've not been able to get out of limp mode. I've taken that back off, as I said, released it off so that it had a chance of the pressure to go from there, and then cleared the codes and drove it again, but it still went straight back into limp mode. I did take the map sensor off, which was full of gunge, clean that out, but I did use carb cleaner and I did poke something in it, so I could have, to be honest, the code for that could be the fact that that's now dead, to be honest. Maybe that's why it's still going into limp mode, I don't know, because that is a variable that I've done, which is play around with that MAF sensor. Yeah, so then like I say, I put the intake back on, put the clip on it, but it keeps blowing at that section, it keeps blowing that section off. So I don't know what that's all about. If I'd left it well alone, as at the beginning of the video, it could have been sold as is, say 2.5k as a run-in driving, just with a little bit of smoke every now and then. It was only a tiny bit. And a strange whistle from the engine bay, but now we've got a car that's only running in limp mode, so I've actually made the situation worse. So as always, guys, comment down below, is there some massively experienced Jaguar person that's got an idea of what this problem might be? Have you seen it where it blows that pipe off before and makes that strange whistling noise down the right hand side of the engine bay? The trouble with it is, it could be 101 things, couldn't it? That's the trouble. I've asked Phil to try and do a smoke test for me so we can try and see if there's, whether that whistling noise is air escaping somewhere. It could be something as simple as a pipe, couldn't it? You just don't know. The person that part exchanged the car drove it all the way down from up country, so they absolutely weren't in limp mode because they came down the motorways. They wouldn't have been able to do that unless they literally crawled on the inside lane all the way down. And obviously when I drove the car, I started and moved it 3 or 4 times and drove it 3 or 4 times when it was still fully boosting and didn't have a code on it. So I don't think it's a case of codes being cleared. But there is signs that somebody else has been in there, because some of the clips are missing and some of the original screws aren't in the engine bay, and it's a full Jaguar service history. So you'd think that you'd think the main dealer wouldn't do that. You just don't know, do you? So there's a lesson for you guys. I mean, there's enough margin in it, as I said, for me, if it's quite a substantial fix, to get it fixed. But I still wouldn't want to retail it, because I still wouldn't be on the hook for any other problems. So yeah, I mean, if anybody knows a local Jaguar specialist in the North Devon area, also tag them or comment down below with them, because it may be worth me taking it to a specialist. But hopefully old Phil pulls it out of the bag yet again. So I need everybody out there to have fingers crossed, not fists, fingers crossed in a big way for me on this one, guys. Thanks for watching as always. Catch you later.